Thank you, Hedley. Good morning, everyone. And just a little follow-up on Hedley, the poor lad when he was a graduate geologist, or that experience he had has changed him forever, as you can see. So feel sorry for his experience. We're a first-time presenter here, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to tell you the Havilah copper gold story about our large mineral assets in the northeast of South Australia, and how we as a board and management are striving to unlock that value for our shareholders. The cautionary statement: I'm a geologist, so I'm prone to making forward-looking statements, and please be aware of the limitations. The first point about Havilah is that we're solely focused on one province in the northeast of South Australia called the Curnamona province. It lies very near Broken Hill, well serviced with infrastructure. The main transcontinental railway line and Adelaide-Sydney Highway runs through our tenements. It's 5 hours drive from Adelaide up to our field areas, about a 1 hour drive out of Broken Hill. We hold about 9,000 square kilometres of exploration licences, tenements in that area. And because we are just working one area, our geological team are expert, and that gives us a competitive advantage of finding new resources in that area. We own Kalkaroo Station, and those wonderful pictures that Duncan showed in his previous talk is actually all part of our property. We're boss's landlord. That's our main claim to fame. So the second point to make is that Havilah is highly leveraged to copper and gold. We have two substantial copper-gold projects with JORC resources, in the case of Kalkaroo, an ore reserve. Kalkaroo is a large, potentially open-pit copper-gold deposit with over 1 million tonnes of copper and 3 million ounces of gold in JORC resources. Its open pit life, potential mine life, was increased by a recent BHP Oz Minerals study to over 20 years. And there's associated minerals, copper, cobalt, molybdenum, tungsten and rare earths. The second deposit is Mutooroo, a smaller deposit but higher grade, initially open pit, potentially going to underground, 1.53% copper grade and about 12.5 million tonnes of sulphide resource with almost 200,000 tonnes of copper. And the ore body is known to extend to more than 500 metres depth. So just briefly speaking about our major copper deposits, Kalkaroo is a remarkable deposit. It's already a large deposit, but the size of it is actually uncertain at this stage because it's not drilled out. On every drill section at depth and along strike, Kalkaroo is open. So we really don't know how large Kalkaroo is. It's the white line there is a granted mining lease with native title agreement. We own the land that it's on, and so it's short of doing an environmental study, it's almost mining ready. Surrounding Kalkaroo is what we call the Curnamona Copperbelt. It's a greatly underexplored area because there's no outcrop. And that image on the right there is an aeromagnetic image. It's extremely useful to us because it gives us an X-ray vision of what is going on below that sand soil cover, and it reveals all sorts of exciting geological features. The whole area geologically in this copper belt is very similar to the Central African copper belt in Zambia and DRC, which is a very prolific copper producing region, and we have very similar geology. Kalkaroo lies down the bottom there, the red font colour, and within 30 to 50 kilometres of Kalkaroo we have at least 8 prospects, all of which have substantial copper, gold, strategic minerals intersections and multiple intersections. And because it's the strata-bound style mineralisation, the strike lengths are very long and the scale of the deposits is potentially large. So each one of those prospects could potentially generate another Kalkaroo size deposit. And as an example, I show here the Uranium dome, which is up in the east, the northeast corner there. It's basically like a turtle back. It's 20 kilometres around the circumference of that dome. That prospective horizon, which we're targeting, the white, extends for that entire length. And we have drill intersections there, some bonanza copper gold drill intersections, and it's a huge target, requires a lot of drilling, a lot of expenditure, but the target potential is monstrous. And we have several other prospects like that near Kalkaroo. The other project, copper project we have is called Mutooroo. As I said, it's the one nearer Broken Hill, only about 40 minutes drive from Broken Hill, 16 k's south of the main railway line. Old workings there, dating back to the 1880s, Broken Hill era. The resource comes to the surface, so it will start as an open pit, but the bulk of the deposit is underground, and the deepest drill hole there is 500 metres, and the ore body is still going strong. We're presently drilling just off to the northern end where the white arrow is. We have a drilling rig operating there as we speak. There's a large EM anomaly, electromagnetic conductive anomaly there, and we think there is very good potential to expand the resource further northwards, and there is virtually no drill holes there. Those drill holes that are very encouraging. And the other good piece of news is that recently we signed an MOU with JX Advanced Metals, who are a large Japanese non-ferrous metals enterprise. They own one of the largest copper refineries and smelters in Japan. And they are undertaking a study program which is helping us with the drilling, but also doing some metallurgical work with a view to investing in the project in the future if it's to their satisfaction, and developing that project. So they're a great, very great partner to have. And just as at Kalkaroo, surrounding the Mutooroo area, we have quite a large area of tenements with many very good prospects. All of those shown on the map are intersections we've drilled, and again, not fully drilled out by any means. So it's a classic situation where you can have a spoke and hub. If we can develop the Mutooroo deposit, get an operation going there, then we feel we'll be able to find a lot more resources in the surrounding area and be able to feed into that central plant. Again, it's flat country, no rainforest, no big rivers, very easy to construct roads, haul roads across to a plant. And I've listed there various prospects with the ASX references to our drilling, which you can look at any time. And as if that wasn't enough, what I've been talking about essentially is down in the basement layer of the building, but at ground level, on the surface, there is extensive I seem to have lost. Oh, good, thank you. And Duncan gave a wonderful talk about the potential of that area, and you'll see the Honeymoon mine operation that Duncan spoke about just lying to the south of our tenements. Those paleo channels run all the way up through our tenements, and our area is equally as prospective as the Honeymoon area and Gould's Dam and the other prospects. So uranium is not our core business. You'll have gathered from Duncan's talk, it's a very specialised business. And so we have joint ventured one of our areas where we do have a uranium resource to Cobra Resources. We've taken a large equity stake in the company. They're earning in to earn 80%. So Havilah has substantial upside, expenditure on our tenements, but is relieved of the responsibility of doing the uranium exploration work. And we have other uranium areas, and we propose to do that with them as well. I should say that we have made our own hard rock uranium discovery just south of Kalkaroo, quite substantial grades, very good leaching kinetics. It outcrops at the surface. and that is potentially significant new uranium hard rock discovery. So this is the main point of my talk, this slide. So I hope by now I've convinced you that Havilah has a very substantial multi-commodity minerals portfolio in a very stable jurisdiction in Northeast and South Australia. So the next question is, what are we doing about that? How are we realising value for shareholders? We're a $57 million market cap company, but if you look at that map, it reveals a very interesting thing. There are two other copper deposits in Australia, potentially open pit copper gold deposits, which are comparable to Kalkaroo. We've studied them, similar resource, similar size, similar logistics. Copper Mountain in the Mount Isa Cloncurry block recently sold the EVA project for $343 million cash to Harmony Gold. Rex Minerals, who is basically our neighbour in South Australia on York Peninsula with a hillside deposit, that is under a takeover offer from the Salam Group of Indonesia for almost $400 million, and their major asset is the hillside copper deposit. And there, just nearby, of course, is Havilah's Kalkaroo deposit, one of our copper deposits, and we have a market cap today of about $57 million. So you can see that the first part of our strategy is to monetize those assets that the market wants. And the market wants, or major companies want, large copper deposits like Kalkaroo, evidenced by those sales. And you can see that if we can get that type of number for selling Kalkaroo, then that will produce a major benefit for our shareholders, allow us to return funds, allow us to have funds to do exploration. The second part of our strategy is on other projects like Mutooroo, for example, to do strategic alliances, joint ventures with very reputable, competent companies like JX Advanced Metals, who will take the offtake, who have the capability of funding the mine, and we retain a significant stake. The third plank is to divest non-core assets. I mentioned uranium, a world-class uranium area. We've joint ventured some of those assets to Cobra Resources, in which we have substantial upside via shareholding, and we plan to do the same with other uranium areas and our iron ore assets, which are non-core to our present business and in which we don't get 1 cent of value in Havilah. So it's all about trying to create value in Havilah where there is none at the moment being recognised. And then, of course, our DNA, our core work is exploration. As I've shown you, very good exploration areas, large areas surrounding our existing substantial resources. We've drilled them ourselves. We have one drill rig out drilling in an area near Kalkaroo, our second drill rig, drilling at the moment on one of our prime prospects with very good discovery potential. So that's how we're going about creating value for our shareholders out of this large mineral asset we have. And then, of course, it's all about implementation, timetable, and this summarises where we're at there. The Kalkaroo project, we are discussing actively with a number of parties about the divestment of that asset to see whether we can actually reproduce the deal we had with Oz Minerals before BHP took them over and generate substantial return for our shareholders. But at the same time, we have a drill rig presently drilling in the surrounding area, some of these other outlying prospects, with a very good chance of finding new Kalkaroo-style deposits, similar scale and size. In the Mutooroo project, the smaller copper project near Broken Hill, as I said, we have this alliance with JX Advanced Metals, a major Japanese copper smelter refinery, and that study program is proceeding as we speak. Also, we have our own drilling rig. Havilah owns its own drilling rig, which is drilling away just on the northern end of the Mutooroo deposit on a strong EM anomaly with a very good chance of us being able to expand the resource. Cobra Resources, in the surrounding area, we're also doing regional exploration, which we'll go to once we finish drilling at the Mutooroo mine. And Cobra, of course, are drilling for uranium on the paleo channels, and they have a drilling rig. And our other assets, we're looking at divesting them as the opportunity arises. So there you have a company, good assets. At the present time, plenty of action. We have 3 drill rigs operating on our area, drilling various things. So plenty of news flow, plenty of assets, and there's our JORC resources. And thank you for your interest in the Havilah story. I'm outside. Please come and have a chat anytime.